So before we start logical operators, one would want to know the purpose of a logical operator. Some of you took Python before. Yes, so you should know what a logical operator is. Did they cover in the previous class? Okay, what is the purpose of a logical operator?
The logical operator, like a Boolean statement, like yes or no.
Robert is using fancy words. Boolean statement. What is a Boolean statement?
It's basically just like a yes or no. The answer could be like, does variable x equal 2? And it'll either say yes or no.
Okay, Lucas.
It's like the logic gate thing with like not or that stuff.
He is using more serious fancy answers. Logic gate. Very true. I won't get into too much detail as to what a logic gate is. Some of you might learn later, but a logical operator is something that is used to verify a bunch of statements. The result is always true or false, 0 or 1. A very good data type, or a data type that is very resourceful when you do Boolean statements in C++ is
Conditional. Or compared.
data type.
Oh.
It's a 4-letter word. Starts with B, ends with L. The data type that we would use for Boolean. Bool. So B-O-O-L. So bool is a data type in C, C++. I'm going to create a variable bool. The name of my variable is logic_val. And I will create an int variable or 2. I'll create int AB. I want you to write a statement where you get inputs for both A and B. How would you do it? Go ahead and come up with that statement, type it, execute it. I'll give you a few minutes.
Yeah.
Statements to get inputs for A and B from the console. So you need to get values for A and B from the console. How would you do it? Okay, so we want to get input values for variables A as well as B. Sure, I can directly go for a cin statement. Cin stands for console in, but it is best to give some sort of guidance in the console as to what we're trying to do. So I'm going to start with a guiding statement, enter the value for variable A. Good enough. You can either use end L from the namespace std, or you can use \n. It's entirely up to you. As I went around, I saw some of you using cin with a string statement, such as the one that you see in line 11, enter the value for variable A. That's not going to work. Cin cannot have strings typed in it. So I'm going to get the value, whatever that might be, and save it to A. enter the value for variable B. Mind you, lines 11 and 14, we're just typing it so that in the console, we get a set of instructions as to what to do. So statements in line 12 and line 15 will get the values of A and B. What am I missing at the very beginning?
Oh, you need the IO train.
We need the preprocessor directive. Or directives. I'm just going to put all the usual ones, IO stream, CMAP, and IO manip. It's for input-output manipulation. In the reading sections that are assigned, there are plenty of other functions that you can use to manipulate output. In the previous source code that we did in class, we did set position primarily, and fixed and scientific portions of it. Now that I have A, B, I can execute, see what happens. Oh, my bad. Should be void, not int. Line number 10, main has to be void. Excuse me, main within parentheses, it has to be void, not int. We're not there yet.
Is void the same thing as not typing anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Void means nothing, correct? I'm just being more particular so that the more you do this, you would understand later as to what we're doing with void. I'm going to give 8 for the value A and 2 for B. It executed without any errors. You're not seeing anything because I didn't pass anything back to the output using A and B. Okay. Is it possible, don't cheat, is it possible to input 2 floating point numbers as values from the console? So can I type the value of A to be 2.4? No. Okay, that's what Scott says. Do we agree with Scott?
Probably going to the word that I can't remember, but I just shortened. I just have to remember.
It starts with the letter T, Lucas, ends with E.
Okay.
Truncate. Anthony?
I had a different question. In your preprocessor directive, you added other things. Are you do that because we know that they exist?
Yeah, I'm doing it for practice. You don't need it for this code.
Right.
Yeah. The more you do it, the better you'll get. That's why I'm typing this. Okay. Scott said no. Lucas said, it's going to truncate. So I am going to pass 2 values, 8.2. What happened? I'll run it one more time and you can tell me. A, 8.2. And mine just jumped to B and it skipped. Okay. So let's just observe the values. Scott.
It probably assigned to the letter B.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So value of A. I'm going to type A. value of B. Going to type B. You can use \n or &l, entirely up to you. Okay, so (8.2). Well, let's start with 8 for A, 2 for B. Value of A is 8, value of B, 2. So it got the input properly from the console. I am going to enter. Damn it. 8.2. Ready? Enter. What happened? It automatically took a truncated assigned A to A and returned the value of B to be 0. Since the value that it's looking for is an integer, doesn't have patience for anything else. Just like C, where we would do %I, in which case it will only get integer as input.
So B is only getting the 0.2 part of it. And it's
Yes.
just assigning 0 to.
Exactly. So instead of 8.2, let's say I did 8. Damn it. It'll work. 8.9. It's still truncating and assigning 0 to B and 8 to A. So we're going to do integers for this exercise with logical operators, but I just wanted to show you how defining a data type could affect how you deal with the compiler. I am going to create another variable, going to call it my_mod. I would like to test if the variable A is even. Good. Now, we're not getting into logical statements, so let's not do that. What I would rather do is this. A%2 would simply give me the modulo of A or A mod 2, which means A divided by 2, and you get the remainder. If you divide an even number by 2, what is the remainder? 0, always. If you have an odd number, you divide it by 2. What is the remainder? 1, always. Now, I'm going to take this value, save it to logic_val. So I'm typing a statement to simply guide me along. So I'm typing the statement to the console. Is the number A even? And I'm suggesting if it returns 1, the answer, my bad. No, 0 would mean yes. There's a remainder of 1 would simply mean that the number is odd. Make sure to save the file before you execute. Okay. So what I did is I pretty much found the modulo and I saved it to the variable logic underscore val. Damn it. Okay. A is 8, B 2, and I'm getting 0 here. This simply means that the number is even. If I change the input, let's say A 7, B is 2, I'm getting the result as 1. In which case, it simply means that A is even, not even, in other words, odd. This is neat and all. One might ask, well, why did we even bother creating logic underscore val? Yes. No, maybe. But I have done the exact same thing with an integer variable, which is why I created my underscore mode. What I'm going to do is my underscore mode equals a%2. Same process mathematically, but this time I'm going to put a guiding statement, same thing. But I'm going to add at the end using int. So this time I'm using my integer data type variable, which is my underscore mode that I declared at the very beginning. Line number 27 is needed, otherwise it's going to give you a garbage value. So I'm going to pick 16, 9. My test is simply on A. So is the number A even? I get 0, which means the number is even. Same happens with the second case. So maybe an integer or logical Boolean, it didn't matter. Got the same answer. The next step, I am going to type a bunch of statements. I want you to type them as is. Yes. So let's execute and see what happens. Jeez, LCD. A, I'm going to use A, B, 9. It actually ran from Python. What does line 35 mean?
B equals B divided by 3.
Okay, line 35 in mine, Scott.
I don't know.
Is that what it means
C++ or in Python?
in Python?
Oh, Python, the actual thing is,
What we have here, these are called combined assignments. The reason being I'm combining an operation and assigning at the same time. So the first one, A plus equals 2, is equivalent to saying A equals A plus 2. So you're doing A plus 2, whatever value you get, you're assigning it back to A. Likewise, Scott was correct. When I do B slash equals 3, it is equivalent to saying B equals B divided by 3. So B divided by 3 computation, back to B assignment. So you're computing and assigning simultaneously. You can tell me what the next one is. How would you write it? Go ahead, Brett. Okay, so this is one of those cases which I've seen students confuse themselves with. You've got to be, clear on how these work. When we write A minus, this simply means it is going to take away whatever you have on the right-hand side away from A, save it back to A. So now could it be B minus A? Yes. Is it possible? Yes, no, maybe. No. So that's one. The next I have A star was my underscore mode. Any thoughts as to what that does? A equals A times my underscore mode. You compute, then assign simultaneously. And the last one is an interesting case. Yes.
With the power.
It is simply the power, but I'm going to wait until we get to that line. So all of these combined assignments are great. What I'm going to do is at each step, I'm going to print the value of what we did. So prior to the very first statement, I want to know what the value of A is. Now, value of A, then after the operation. We know the value of B. we can take note instead of creating a new statement. So line number 31 is optional. Value of B. Good. If you have to guess, what am I trying to print in line 37? An empty line. Oh, I see. You are correct, but what am I thinking of? I'm wanting to print the value of A again. Why? It just, louder, Lucas. It just changed. So I want you to see the change. And lastly, oh, it's not the last one. I've got one more to go after this. Jeez.
Line 31 doesn't have a.
Ah, thank you. As I said, I just put that statement, but then I realized we don't need it as we have the value of A and B entered in console. Nothing wrong in having additional statements to guide you. All I'm trying to do is after each combined assignment, I am printing the value to see how the assignment changed the value of the variable. Reason being, once the operation is done, the value will get stored right back to the variable. So case one, line number 32, A would equal A plus 2. Okay, line number 31 is optional. Okay, so there is a reason as to why I created my underscore mode logic underscore val. I'm getting there. So we did a bunch of combined assignments. I'm going to go ahead and evaluate them all. For A, I'm going to use 16. For B, why not 23? Good. A is 16, B is 23. Clearly, A is an even number. We've done that. The first part there, it's using logic underscore val. Second part is using my underscore mode. First one, logic underscore val, is a Boolean data type. That one right there is an integer data type. So that's line number 31. It is the optional statement telling us the value of A. Our first statement was A plus equals 2. So it took the value of A, added 2, saved it back to A. So the value of A is now 18. The value of B, I started with 21. So took the value of B, divided by 3, assigned it right back to B. B is 7. The next value of A is 11. The operation that we did is A minus equals B. 18 minus 7. So it is not B minus A. The order of operations matter. So it is A minus B when you write it as A minus equals B. First variable minus the second. Next case, what was that? A star equals my underscore mod. Yes, which simply means you're taking the value of A, multiplying by my underscore mod, saving it right back to A, I believe. The next step, am I off by one? No. Losing track here. I'll make that an optional statement. We don't need it. So the first operation, perfectly fine. B is fine. That is 11 times my mod, and A raised equals 2, and mine didn't print for some reason. So going to go with 1623. Ah, there it is. It's hiding. So the very last value, I guess a value of 2. So if you rewrite A parent equals 2, how would you translate that as a full expression and not a combined assignment? Loudest chord.
A equals A squared.
A equals A raised 2, right?
No. It's right here.
So all I'm asking Scott is, well, what does this mean? You would have A equals A raised 2. That would be the combined assignment logic, right? Going back to, if it is A plus, I'm referring to A plus 2 assigned right back to A. Same logic must apply here. In other words, as Anthony pointed out, I'm squaring 0. The answer has to be 0. What did I get? 2. All the math that I learned in this world is gone. Now I'm sad and depressed. Doesn't make any sense. Huh? What happened? Any thoughts? Did we get 2 at the very last step?
Maybe it's backwards. Or maybe it's like 2 raised to A.
Well, if that is the case, A is 0, 2 raised 0 would be 1. That doesn't work either. So what just happened? So I'm going to do one more step. I'll call it power actually. Oops. When I printed A, I ended up getting 2. Yes, the value got stored as 2. So I know the value of A is 2. So this time, instead of using the caret sign, I'm going to use POW, doesn't stand for prisoner of war, 2, comma, let's try something different, 8, comma, 8. Mind you, the POW function wouldn't wow you if you don't have CMAP. You need CMAP. So you can't have a powwow with POW if you don't have CMAP included. Ready? Same numbers, 16, 23. Everything worked out. And at the end, when I used POW or the power function, I have 8 raised to the power of 2 because the value of A is 2. 8 squared is 64. Good? Always said. Okay. Now, still, we haven't answered as to what happened with line number 39. Earlier today, when I first started, I asked about logical operators, and Lucas said it has something to do with gates. It's not Bill Gates, logic gates. Logic gates are related to logical operators. The operators, common ones, and so ampersand sign, or vertical dash. If you have an amazing computer like Windows laptop or Linux, you will find it right below backspace, vertical dash. It's on a Mac too. Yeah. But it's not amazing. That's all I'm trying to say. Some programming languages would use a tilde as not, but here it is excitement. Good. Those are the basic logic gates, and or not. Then comes something called an exclusive or. The caret symbol in line number 39 corresponds to XOR, exclusive OR. You have exclusive OR, exclusive AND. You would learn about this stuff when you do computer architecture. I don't know if you have to, but this is how computers communicate. So XOR, XAND. If time permits, I'll cover these later, but for now, we will just look at those 3. Good. Before we end, I want to wrap up with what I wanted to do today. So, if I want to raise power, say 8 raised 2, I need the power function. I cannot use a caret sign. Python doesn't use the caret sign. What does Python use for power? Double asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. In a similar manner here, you need POW. Caret means XOR. Just wanted to demonstrate something. So I'm going to do simple logic add. Here, jeez. So my line number 45 is simple logic add. What I'm doing is I'm going to add the number 2 to logic underscore val. The guiding statements that I'm typing, they don't have any meaning. I'm just doing it for fun, and it would guide me as to what to do next. We don't call this double logic add, FYI. So line 45, I'm simply adding number 2 to logic underscore val. line 46, logic underscore val plus logic underscore val. From earlier, what was the value of logic underscore val? It was 0 because I kept entering an even number for A. Going to switch, and I want an odd number because I want to show you as to what happens with lines 45 and 46. Let's pick 23 for A and 16 for B. Of course, 8 raised to 23 is going to be a large number. Simple logic, add even number. So logic underscore val was or is 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Great. Line 46, 1 plus 1, 2. Great. Line 47, the guiding statement is actually, that's what we call a simple logical expression. I'm going to do not followed by logic underscore val. And one last thing, the very end. Now you will know as to why I created my underscore mod, logic underscore val, all of that stuff. Line number 48, I'm going to do another logical expression, not, but this time I'm going to do my underscore mod. Good. Save. $23 for A, 16 for B. I'm getting 0. The next one is also 0. No change. So if you want, I want you to try this before coming back to the next class. But I'm going to do this without it. Change my underscore mod from integer to floating point or double. Run the exact same code and see what happens. That is something for you to try. Change the data type of my underscore mod and change it to double or floating point, entirely up to you. See what happens. The point that you have to note here is maybe the logical variable, logic underscore val, Boolean data type, or my underscore mod, integer data type. They are behaving exactly the same way. Reason being that a logical value and integer, it's like, born under the same roof. The compiler can switch back and forth as it chooses, depending on the scenario. So it can either treat it as int, it can treat it as Boolean, entirely up to the compiler. There is one other data type that can play well with integers. Do we remember? In other words, it will automatically switch to an very good, louder. Scott, red, character. If you take a character variable or character data type, it can easily play with integers the compiler would be perfectly okay. Other data types, not so much. So my underscore mode and logic underscore val are giving you the same values because the compiler, is being nice. Give it a try, change it to double or float for my underscore mode. Try it at home. We're going to do more logical operators next time.